Thanks, Doug. I'm gonna tie my shoe real quick. How do you write a symphony when you can never hear how it sounds? To read and write notes, but to never again be able to hear what those notes sound like, that would be tortuous. Ludwig van Beethoven was a composer who had to deal with these issues. Yet he made the choice to continue his art. It's difficult to think of a greater obstacle than the one that Beethoven faced in losing his hearing. But by pursuing his passion instead of yielding to difficulties, Beethoven tapped into his natural abilities. He escaped from some of the darkest places of his life, and he became known as one of the most revolutionary and talented composers of all time. No matter what decisions we make, no matter which paths we choose to walk down, there will always be obstacles or roadblocks that we face. It's an unavoidable fact of life. Sometimes we can easily see how to sidestep the roadblock. Other times, though, solutions won't be obvious. What can be done in a case where the odds are insurmountable? A powerful strategy is to exploit our natural strengths. When Beethoven began to lose his hearing at the age of 26, he knew right away his musical career would be seriously affected. However, instead of retiring from music, he used the vast amount of musical knowledge that he'd acquired and continued composing. Yes, sometimes we're dealt a serious blow, but instead of retreating, we should just forge onward. I find it's true with many of my Toastmasters speeches. For me, the most difficult task is choosing a topic. I've often agonized over how I can come up with some message that's worthy of speaking about. Almost every time I come back to one of my passions, history. Does that mean that all of my speeches are short biographies of men who lived in the 1800s? Members of my club are thankful that's not the case. However, the stories that I've read and that I've thought critically about have proven to be excellent starting points around which to structure a speech. In fact, when I'm confronted with any problem, historical examples always spring to the front of my mind. That's how I know that I have a passion for history, and I believe I've been richly rewarded for developing it. We know our passions. There's something in our hearts and our minds that's ignited when we even think about them. What if you think about the most difficult times of your life? What can you do to climb out of such an abyss? Beethoven experienced times like these, and not just due to his loss of hearing. His mother died when he was a teenager. His father then fell deep into alcoholism. At only the age of 17, he became the sole provider for his younger siblings. It was a heavy burden for him to bear, and one that he would carry his whole life. Finally, at the age of 31, it became too much for him, and he confessed in a note to his brothers that he was considering suicide. However, in the same note, he said that it was his love for music that convinced him to live. What else, other than our most dear passions, can carry us out of a moment like that? It doesn't need to be an exceptional talent like it was for Beethoven that inspires us. It could be love for a friend that depends on you. It could be something that began as a hobby, but then turned into something more. Regardless of what it is, unless you've made the conscious decision to develop it during your good times, it won't be there to carry you out of the bad. I said earlier that we all know the feeling within ourselves when we're doing something that we love. But there's something invisible to others when we're passionate as well. When we do something that we truly love, or that means the world to us, there's an electricity about you that everybody can feel. The music of Beethoven is beautiful. Yes, that's true. But it only explains so much about him. What's much more revealing is that he didn't stop making music when he lost his hearing. Instead, he relentlessly drove forward in the face of a massive obstacle. That sort of determination is something that people can see, and they're drawn to it. When I was a freshman in college, most people didn't see Romeo when they looked at me. No, they saw a math league state champion. But one day I saw a beautiful girl. Now, what was I good at? Math. What was I really bad at? Flirting. But regardless of that, I flirted relentlessly, and I eventually got that girl to marry me. We don't distinguish ourselves by doing what's expected of us. It's not by endlessly perfecting some random skill like calculus that you engrave yourself in somebody's memory. It's doing something that you love or that you're excited for that will earn you respect. You must pursue passion, not perfection. Beethoven was an incredible and a unique talent. Yet his greatest gift to mankind wasn't his music. It was the example he set of the rewards that we can reap when we devote ourselves to something that we truly love. These pursuits will often overlap with our natural talents, allowing us to overcome even the most intimidating of hurdles. The strong emotions that they generate within ourselves can lift us up out of our darkest moments. And the sincere joy that you exude will give you an aura that is nearly impossible to resist. That is the power of passion.